everybody. This is the last conference call of the year, and we thought that we would like to have you, as you know, that we would like to have sort of an open forum with questions that you all have. We invited you to send in some questions so that we'd have a little chance to maybe do some research or whatever, and so we have several questions that we'll talk about to start the conversation, and get your input as well into the answers to these questions. And the first question is Pat is going to talk about.
It was about a question I think that Anna had asked about laptops, and wondering if all students had laptops. Was that the right question?
Yeah.
It was, okay. And what, I just wanted to confirm to make sure. And Anna, I hope I answered this for you. ETV, I know for the ETV perspective, as I'm a coordinator, and I think I've told all of you that, the ETV, you're given the option or opportunity as a student to purchase an ETV or a laptop using your ETV funds. So the way that's done is it's a certain set dollar amount, and we have a program through PC Connections that will allow the students to purchase it for a certain dollar amount. I think it's around $1,000. It depends on which state they're purchasing it from, because there's various expenses such as shipping and whatnot. So the students can purchase the laptop. The one requirement is they have to be a full-time student, which is 12 credits or more because of the cost of the laptop. And the great thing about it is that students are given good support. It's 24/7, so that means if they have any issue with the laptop, they can contact the PC Connections Tech Department, and they will assist them in trying to repair it, or the student can actually have repair or replace. That's the option. They can ship it back to PC Connections, and PC Connections will either repair it within 48 hours or replace it. Now this also comes with what is the most important thing with this is a 3-year warranty. And if you have seen what college students can do to a computer, it's well worth it. I've seen students that have stepped on their computers, dropped them. Other than losing it, PC Connections will replace it. Does that answer your question? This is also...
Yes, thank you. And I guess the students that are not EDV, they don't have that opportunity, right?
Actually, Anna, if you're a scholarship student, you are also allowed to use your scholarship funds to purchase a laptop as well.
Okay.
Yes, and the reason, Anna, that we don't use refurbished computers is because we've done that upon occasion in the past, sort of in the distant past, and they are not as reliable. They don't have necessarily a good warranty, and students have been quite upset. So
with a warranty, that is the biggest selling point, is the student can just pick up the phone, they rattle off the serial number on the bottom of the laptop, and they get instant support from the tech department up there. It's a great, great program.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear. That's great.
Okay. Any questions about that, coaches? Okay.
We give such wonderful answers. That
I think that's it.
Yeah. So the next question that we got was from Coach Terry. And Terry said that one of her students has not shared much of her life outside of school and career, that she checks in with her regularly and she mostly just says, everything's fine. It's all fine. Like when you ask your kid how'd it go at school today, and they say fine, and you say, what do you have for lunch? And they say food.
Yeah.
So, Terry's question was, should I try to probe more into how things are going, or just be available if she wants to talk? And so there's a couple of suggestions here. The first one is the same as with your your kid. Try asking questions that don't have a one-word answer is a start. Instead of how was your weekend, what did you do over the weekend? And then if they answer, I went kayaking, or I stayed home and slept, or whatever it is, you can draw that out and find out a little bit more, hopefully. Another thing that you can do is just ask your student random questions about interesting things if you want to draw her out. And we Googled, you know, interesting questions to ask somebody to get to know them, or interesting questions to ask a student. You just Google things like that, and I have one here, for example. It was from ask.com, 20 questions to get to know somebody. And there are questions like, what are some of your hobbies? What is the best meal you ever had? If you could vacation anywhere in the world, where would you go? What was the best gift you were ever given? So, you know, maybe again trying to draw the student out with questions like that. And then the other thing that we wanted to say in answer to this is that if this young woman is open and shares about school and about career and the things that you said she does, you know, maybe number one, maybe she'll open up about her personal life later on in your relationship, and if she and maybe she won't, and then 2 years down the pike something happens, and because you have been consistent, because you have you know, always been there for her, at that point she would open up and ask for advice or whatever it was. And the other thing that we wanted to say was, if all you ever talk about is school and career, that's, you know, not a bad thing either, because she may have somebody else in her life that she talks to about the other things, and you know, a career coach and an academic coach is a really good thing too. So that's what we have to say about that. And Pat,
it's
do you have
honestly,
anything?
I can recall a couple of years ago where I had a student, and that's all she did is we would talk about academics. I would ask her questions, and it was always the yes or no, or you know, a very short answer. One morning I came in early, and she called me, and something tragic in her life happened, and she just was on the phone with me for about 2 hours, and we became close that way. And that's sometimes how things happen, that you are there, you're consistent with them, you call them that once a week, or they call you, and all of a sudden something may happen in her life, and one person she turns to could be you. So it really does work.
Does anybody have anything to add about how you have perhaps reached out to your students? I feel like an auctioneer, you know, going once. So, well, so to segue into a similar question, actually, Bethany wondered how you deal with a student who always just seems happy. And again, this is sort of out of context. We don't really know context to this, but my first immediate thought, and Pat's first immediate thought was, wow, be really glad. But you know, if she seems genuinely happy, and when you talk to her, things seem to be good in her life, you know, things are going fairly smoothly. She's doing okay in school, and you know, then it's a good thing, and hopefully she is really happy. If, on the other hand, like the student that we were just talking about, it's a one-word answer. How's it going? How are you feeling? You know, what's up? And she just always says fine in a fake cheerful voice, or you know, I'm great, I'm happy. Well, then I would use those probing questions perhaps a little bit, and you know, questions that you can't answer like that, and try and get a little bit deeper into it and really see what's going on. And again, if she really is happy and you are consistent, one day when she needs you, she will reach out to you. And Bethany, I just wanted to say really quickly that I looked up this particular student, and things are going okay for her. I, you know, looked at the notes from her coordinator, and things seem to be okay. So that is a good thing.
Okay, that's great. I was just, my thing is, I guess, I know that she's pretty much in all intents and purposes kind of graduated, if you will. The last segment of what she's doing is an internship. I'll try and ask those probing questions. How has work been? What have you learned? Anything, new or anything
Right.
that you didn't think that you knew? And everything's wonderful. It's kind of what I get back. Everything is going perfect. It's wonderful. Or kind of
Yeah.
the short, it's a lot of like deflecting my actual questions and everything's wonderful. It's perfect. And I'm like, well, I'm sure if this is kind of her first more professional job, I'm sure there's definitely a learning curve, and that's why I was just kind of wondering in that situation, kind of where to go from there, I guess.
Is she in the pharmacy or behind a register, or what is she doing?
It's in the pharmacy, so she's basically going for pharmacy tech. Is kind of her thing. So this is probably her first experience, and it's only her second week, doing this. So, and I kind of said, what do you love? What do you love about it? What's kind of your favorite part so far? And she's been like, the people. I love them. And I'm like, I don't know.
Well,
It throws me off sometimes because I'm like, I don't know where to go from there, I guess, is the...
Well, one thing that I wonder, and if there's anybody on the call who says this is a wrong thing, please let me know right away. But I wonder if maybe you could engage her by saying, I don't know, I just had a cold or an infection or a bronchitis or something, and they gave me a Zithromax Z-Pack. What do you what symptoms? I don't really know. I'm coming off, but talking at it more
Okay.
concrete like that, or maybe once I had a boss who he always really seemed to like me, and then one day I took 2 minutes too long coming back from the ladies' room, and he got really mad. Or my daughter has a boss, and one day he's really nice, and the other day he's a jerk. So maybe trying to make it somehow a little bit more concrete from your experiences that you have had or other people have had to. I don't know. Perhaps somebody else has a better idea.
Well, I wonder if this is Jane Porges, by the way. So I wonder if it would be too preachy to say something like, well, that's great that you're enjoying the people that you're interacting with. I wonder if you're enjoying the experience of learning something new. What are you learning? How do you think that the new things that you're learning are going to help you in your career and in this role?
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, that's a great one. I hadn't thought of that one. And, I kind of asked, have you learned anything new? And it was just, yeah, I've learned some stuff. Okay.
Like what?
Like what?
I probably don't get emails over about 15 words. That's usually what I get.
Yeah. Well, I have just had, this is my first conference call, so I'm learning the ropes here, but I've just made contact with my students about a week ago, and I'm guessing, trying to read between the lines. I think that she's telling me that, that life is good. She tells me that. She told me a little bit about what she's doing, and she did acknowledge that she's been struggling with school. But I think that there is a sense of wanting to be, not wanting to be guarded, but being guarded and wanting to appear that everything's okay, that everything's under control, and I'm happy, and I'm feeling good. I think that it's that we have these opportunities if the relationship builds slow and steady I'm enjoying my internship, and now she has this full-time thing that's coming up for her. And I'm laying back thinking, okay, so she had trouble with her last semester in school, and eventually I need to find out whether she's going to just be happy about having a job and forget about school. You know, that's the issue. But I guess having a foundation of things are going well in one area of life is probably a good thing, so that it's not all about, oh no, I'm going to talk to my coach and we're going to take the scab off the wound, or, it's going to be painful.
Well, did you say you mostly email her?
So far, I have not had a conversation with my students, but we've only had 2 email exchanges, so I'm trying to, not to force the issue right now.
Well, maybe, jokes in email. There's so much on the internet, memes and whatever. Maybe putting something like that in as well, just to lighten things up and break the ice.
Right.
So, does anybody else have any suggestions or comments?
Well, for the new person, we had talked last time about sending small gifts, I guess. And I don't know, whenever I send my kids something, small, then they always get excited and respond. And, that's also a good conversation thing.
Yeah, that is certainly true.
Even a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, a card.
Yeah.
I do that with our students.
Yeah. So, okay. The last sort of personality question, that's not the right word, but is from Trudy, and this one is very circumstantial, and I think I would like, hopefully, to get a lot of input from all of you, and Pat and I have already talked about it, but the question was, is it okay to discuss the student's foster care experience? My student told me that her foster mother not only did it for the money, and that her foster mother was glad to see her leave. And the coach says, I had no idea how to respond to that. So, again, very, very much context as to how those comments came about. But I think that the first thing would be to validate her feelings on this. It's sad that you feel that way. It must have been really hurtful to you as a validation. And then after that, perhaps to say, do you want to talk about this? And move the conversation a little bit from there. But really, Pat and I, beyond that, we were wondering, because we know some of, all of you, every single one of our coaches is very, very smart and educated and dedicated and wonderful, but some of you also are, I know, have jobs in the social services and humanitarian fields. So I would like to open this question up and see what other people might suggest. Hello?
Well, I would say that just building on what you said, I would just personalize the empathy and say more than just I'm sorry that you feel this way. I would say that I'm sorry to hear about this experience. It's sad and hurtful to hear that that someone had gone through this.
That is good. That's a way of kind of validating it as well, as Tina said.
Connecting
Yes.
Connecting with
Yes.
her. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about you all. I'm sure that I'm not saying something new, but when I think about the mystery of, what's happened to this young woman, what kind of challenges she's faced, I could start crying right here, right now, And no matter what kind of drama we've all encountered in our own families, growing up, you don't get to pick your family, right? But, just the fact that they were there
that you said that, because when I was first putting down my thoughts for this evening, my instinctive thing to do was to say, I'm so sorry you feel that way. But then I was thinking about things I had learned about validation and about how validation is about you and not about me. So when I typed up the sentence, I replaced I'm really sorry with it's sad. But I instinctively already liked your way better. So I absolutely agree with you.
Well, wonderful. So if it ever, when it comes to that, and I hope it will at some point, I'll be ready.
Dear. All right.